boom, 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 boom. Deep in the heart of Texas. Bum, 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 bum. Howdy, Mr. Fuhrer. Howdy, all. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as it were. Hope everyone's all right. What do you look, Ving Rames? It's Paul time. Everyone gather round. It's Paul time. Salty Sundays lead to manic Mondays. Yeah, that's true. It is true. That's what we need. We need to be manic on show days. Hey, 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 ho, ho, ho. Getting pissed off, Paul, or less pissed off than usual, Paul? I don't know, man. I don't think that there is a difference. I think you guys have these theories about there being some kind of difference in the way I am, but I come to these pretty much every day the same way. You're already whining at the door, Dinor? You're already? You don't want to stay out here a few more minutes before I put you in? Okay. Go on. Get in there. Oh, man. Okay. Dinor's choice. He doesn't want to hang with you guys today. Name your son Rupert. There you go. Every day, just add a single grain of rice to what? To the insanity one? What? Get out of here. Paul, use your giant brain to teach us something new today. I'm not your teacher, dude. I'm not your teacher. I'm here to have fun just like you are. The Steam spring cleaning thing is going on, but there's a dope game for free called Endless Space 2. Yeah. I own the first Endless Space. What do you call me sweetheart for? Are you like an aunt of mine? Have you seen Aladdin yet? No. I don't want to put, like, I'll see it eventually, but I'm not going to go see that in the theaters. There's just no way. That feels like just putting a fistful of money in Disney's pocket. I just don't want to do it. I want to de-incentivize them for making these films, so they're definitely not going to get my head count at a theater. Time to wake and bake, grab your blunts, pack your bowls. It's Highdeology. There you go. If that's how you choose to do, more power to you. How do you not look like a raisin with all that salt in you? I got to keep hydrated. I keep the liquid flowing. I haven't seen any movies since the Pokemon movie, so don't go down the roster of movies and ask if I've gone to see them. Tired of all the sequels, prequels, and remakes. Who isn't? I guess there must be people who aren't because they keep going to see these fucking things. Somebody needs to tell them that they're ruining the world. Alabama is the center of morality. Cool. Would rather see Smash Cinematic Universe or more live action Disney. Neither. Hey, thanks, Trey. Trey W. You're not a gangster, are you? You're not a Treyway gangster. You're not a Treyway blood, are you? That's not good, man. Looks like George R.R. Martin is collaborating with From Software to make a game based on Norse mythology. Interesting. You think the last jobs that robots will take over? Police, maybe? Corrections? No. I think it'll probably be just any kind of, like, any kind of like front-facing job. So we're talking like a psychiatrist, like somebody that sits down one-on-one, probably actors, you know, singers, those sorts of things will be the last vestiges of humanity actually performing a job until, of course, they come up with a robot that can do those things better than we can. But you know, like all the labor jobs are definitely on the slate. News anchors might be the first people to be replaced with synthetics because I think that they would be the easiest. I'm a correctional officer. Do I have any job security from Robota? No. No, I don't think. I mean, like in the short term, you'll probably be able to go ahead and live your life as a correctional officer and retire on it, but I wouldn't recommend that your children go into that field if you have any. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. I don't think it's like imminent that we're gonna have, you know, better ways, but like if you want to know how these jobs are going to improve, look at the negatives in them right now. That's really a good way to start if you're going to, like, you know, hypothesize about what kind of jobs are going to be replaced. So if you take correctional officers, the big problem of that job, you know, seems to be the danger of it, right? The fact that you are out outmanned, outnumbered by the inmates in the facility that you're working in, and so it necessitates all of these extra security measures to make sure that you, as a correctional officer, and the rest of your correctional officers use a number of force multipliers to make sure that one of you is worth 10 of them. You know, keeping them segregated, only opening cells a few at a time. You know, keeping watch positions over the yard and stuff so that you can react to any kind of violence that goes on, etc. But it exposes correctional officers to a lot of danger. It's an incredibly dangerous job. Not just physically, like it's not just physical assault that you have to worry about in there. It is somebody inside learning who you are and having some gang members go mess with your family. Having liquids, bodily fluids and stuff thrown on you. They call it gassing in the joint. So having poop or pee or some combination of both thrown in your face by an inmate. So it's direct mortal danger is what I'm saying to the people doing the job, which means to me that it will eventually be replaced. There may be, you know, 2 or 3 real people on a correctional institution in the future, kind of overseeing an army of drones that enforce everything. Humanity can't abandon technology. Technology is like an extension of us. It's something that humanity can't walk away from. Yeah, buy stock in Wayland Industries and Utani Corp. The merger hasn't happened yet. How long till we get ED 209? Ed 209, I mean, like, I don't think it'll be like that, but those types of jobs, soldiering is already, you know, on the chopping block. There will come a time when the only real, like, boots on the ground human soldiers that you need are like specialists, infiltration people, engineers to maintain the army of drones. But there's, you know, soldiering is on the chopping block, police work is on the chopping block. How long will it be until we get some kind of, you know, robotic law enforcement officer? I don't know. No job is secure. Maybe true. Did you hear about the Uyghur woman that was released from concentration camps in China so that they could threaten her son in America to shut up? No, I didn't hear about that. Sounds interesting. The real question is how long till they can program the RoboCops to say he was reaching for something or I was scared for my life. Well, that's kind of like, I know that's, funny joke, but that's the, you really kind of highlight the benefit of a robotic cop, right? Is that there's no extrajudicial killings, there's no misplaced shots, there's no bad decisions. Once we get to that point, just like it's safer to have a robot drive a truck than it is a fallible human being. Well, that extends to most jobs, especially jobs where the lives of other people are in your hands. So, law enforcement, security work, those types of things. Speaking of China, how about that social credit system they're setting up over there? Overkill or sensible public security? I don't know a whole lot about China's social credit system and how it works. From what little I do know, it seems like a tool of social control rather than an attempt to legitimize the internet. I don't necessarily support the Chinese system, although I am a supporter of thinking about the internet in different ways, and codifying it as our new public space, so that freedom, protections of freedom of speech and stuff can extend to that space. So yeah, invading China would be bloodbath for both sides. That's why it doesn't happen. You're getting old. You have looked the same for the past year. Good luck, old man. Thanks. So are you, by the way. You're older right now than you were when I started speaking this sentence. You'll be decrepit soon enough. At that point, the PDs will decide if it's a net benefit or loss to replace robots that are damaged or destroyed by civilians in order to program them to retaliate in order to save money. I mean, I don't think it'll be money save. I mean, look, how do you consider people are going to be destroying these robots? What are your thoughts on the Civil War? Was it truly about the banishment of slavery, or was it about the distribution of power within the government? I mean, slavery was a major part of the Civil War, but and in fact, most history books written on the subject will teach you that the Civil War was about more than just slavery. It was a states' rights war. It was a war about the power of the federal government over the states. It was a war about the states and how far the state's sovereignty extended when it came to dealing with its neighbors. So all of these things were major impetuses of that war. So to say that it was fought over slavery is kind of a reductionist way of looking at it. Paul, what beard grooming products do you use? I'm not going to talk about stupid fucking shit that nobody cares about, bro. Have anti-SJWs gone too far in your opinion? I don't even know who falls under that banner, homie. In terms of law enforcement, Judge Dredd over RoboCop. Judge Dredd is still a fallible human being, and Judge Dredd was empowered to kill you extrajudiciously if he caught you. So, with Judge Dredd, at least operating the way that you see him operate in the comics and the movies, comes a necessity for a justice system that no longer respects habeas corpus or due process. Robots are not infallible, but robots are less fallible than humans. See robots driving cars and how much safer they are than a human being. Yes, every once in a while a robot car malfunctions or makes a bad decision that ends up hurting or killing somebody, but it is like many orders of magnitude less than a human being does that. That's the whole idea, right? Where do you see yourself in 5 years career-wise? I don't know. I mean, I would like to have a screenplay under my belt by that time. I would like to be pursuing that little dream of mine to write and direct a film. So I'd like to be at least on the way towards that, or maybe even exploring options with that. I'd like to have a book done by then. As far as my career goes, I would like to see, the products that I'm working on currently, Deep Fat Fried and all of its subsidiary products, continue to be more popular as we reach more people who are like us and of like mind to us. That's where I hope to go in 5 years. It's, I'm not shooting the moon here. If you got rich, do you think you'd still do Highdeology in your free time? When it comes to like how I was raised and how I've lived most of my life, right now I am rich in comparison to that. Now, I'm not claiming to be a wealthy person. I don't got tons of cars and shit, but I'm pretty well off, like in terms of what I desire. I'm not a big materialist guy, so the things that I have are really what I need, and I consider that to be wealthy. And I still do these, So I think that should answer your question. I mean, these doing these serves a purpose for me. You're still too poor to get a haircut. No, I'm rich enough to decide I don't want to get a haircut, and nobody tells me I have to. You see how that works? Damn is right. Do you not like Hugo and Jake any longer? I really do like those guys. I don't like particularly the path that Jake has taken down this like super woke liberalism rabbit hole. I think that's silly, but that doesn't mean I don't like him as a person. I wouldn't bother like messing with him if I didn't like him as a person. That same thing goes with Vadim. You know what I mean? Vadim, I don't really like most of what comes out of his mouth, but I still like the guy. Dusty, probably less so. I never really enjoyed Dusty all that much. That doesn't mean, that's just a personal assessment. I probably wouldn't chill with Dusty, but what's the deal with Sargon? I have no fucking clue. What do you do to cure yourself from creative exhaustion? I'm stuck in an infuriating limbo. I don't know, dude. I don't have any magic advice for you in that department. There are things about Dusty that I do like. I like Dusty's ability to ride the crest of whatever's popular in the online space. I mean, he's done that more deftly than anybody that I can think of right off the top of my head. He's one of these guys where you may not think it's like a good thing to do, but you look at like a Milo Yiannopoulos who started as a super lefty journalist and then saw the red wave happening and rebranded himself as this like gay crusader in this new alt-right movement. You know what I mean? You got to respect the ability to see that trend coming and get on your surfboard and start paddling before the wave crests. You know what I mean? And Dusty's good at that shit. He's really good at that shit. It doesn't do wonders for his credibility, because once you know that about him, it's like that everything that he says is in service of that. Rise to more power, rise to more influence by riding the trend. So it's not exactly something that, as you respect it in a person, confers any kind of respect, you know what I mean, beyond that, as a speaker, as a thinker, or whatever. But it's definitely respect worthy. But Dusty isn't riding a trend? Okay. Kale Paris is back at it again, dude. Why don't you name yourself something differently so I don't know that you're immediately fucking retarded? Seems like Dusty went against the trend. Went against the trend? Which trend is he going against? You mean the trend of woke liberalism that's growing? You mean right at the crest of the alt-right losing influence? I was watching a clip the other day of Richard Spencer on JF Garapay's show talking about how the alt-right is over for now. He's talking about like, yeah, you know, it's not over forever, but now is not the time of growth. We're just going to have to kind of like go back to the way things were before and incubate and think, and you know what I mean? And then when the time comes again, we'll rise up again. So what do you mean he didn't ride the trend? He jumped ship on the anti-SJW mindset right around the time when woke liberalism started taking over Twitter and YouTube, started censoring channels that went against that sort of liberal mindset, and he went right on to the fucking bandwagon. So what exactly are you talking about, buddy? I'm listening, Kale. Where you at, bud? How's he not riding the trend? Give it to me. What you got, bud? Where you at? He banned me. What? Shut up. I used to like Armored Skeptic. He became a huge douche, though. I'm not like... I'm not going to talk a bunch of shit about, you know, like YouTube creators that I don't have anything to do with. But I will tell you this, I never really saw the draw to the Armored Skeptic thing. I watched a couple of his videos way back when he was like, you know, up and coming, kind of reaching his peak. And I was like, you know, not to denigrate him, just not my kind of content, I guess. The same thing goes with his wife or whatever, Shoe on Head. She was another one that was real big for a while. And watched a couple of her videos and was just like, eh. Good to see your lovely face, Paul. I'm always excited when I see these pop up. You know, to be fair, though, I feel that way about a lot of the big kind of vlogger YouTubers that popped up in recent years. Like, there's this Undoomed guy who really, the only thing about his videos that I really enjoy, you know, that I really kind of respect is he's got a good editor, whether he's editing or he has somebody editing for him, and he's got like a really deep movie quality voice. But as far as his content, I can get that any number of places quicker than watching an Undoomed video, so I don't know why I would. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about a lot of these people. I must thank you for introducing me to Derek Jensen's philosophy. Is there any other thinkers like that you would recommend? We'll do another philosophy in the future. I'm looking at a couple of people right now. You know, I like to be very careful about people whose philosophies I put forward to talk about, because I want it to be something different and challenging for you guys. I don't want it to be just more of the same old bullshit that you're fed every day. The feminism versus anti-feminism, left versus right, this kind of like weird divide that seems to suck up all of our time. Like, I want to talk about things outside of that sphere, and it's not as easy to find those types of people for me. Ever watch the travel vlogger Bald and Bankrupt? He really inspires me. No, I don't. I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube personalities, so you can kind of curb those questions. Like, do you watch X is usually just going to end with me saying no. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. That sphere is annoying, but it affects everything else so hard, so it's hard to ignore. Yeah, I'm not saying ignore it. I'm trying to say that I want to bring you guys something outside of it. Like Derek Jensen, for example, a thinker that is thinking about broader concepts, has a more radical bent to him. Because I don't want to be another voice in that. I understand it's important to keep up with and it's important to think about. I just don't want to be another one of those guys. I don't care about that topic all that much. So, how do we reconcile false dichotomies and fallacies of middle ground? I did a video a long time ago called something about the middle ground. I can't remember what it is. We're talking years ago. It's pre-bearded Paul. It's Paul in his 20s. Something about moderates, I think is what it was called, but it's really talking about the middle ground. And you can go watch that, honestly. I mean, I think that that's going to sum it up better than I would here. I still feel the same way. There's nothing wrong with taking the middle ground on an issue. It is taking the middle ground as a practice that bothers me. And there are a lot of people doing that right now because there's this nice little easy to occupy nest, a nice little hidey hole in the center where you can counter anything that anybody that has an opinion that's to one side or the other of an issue by saying, you know, oh, it's both of you that's the problem. That's usually what you hear. And in some cases that may be true, but people whose philosophy centers around both side-isms or whatever the fuck, that isn't willing to take a stand on any point, those are the types of people. Those are the centrists that seem to be ascendant right now. And it's I think it's just a function of like not being informed enough to actually take a stand, but wanting the clout of participation, wanting the points. See, for me, you're going to find me in the middle of a lot of issues. You're going to find me on the right of some issues. You're going to find me on the left of some issues. I have a true nuanced political position that, you know, it's worth your time if you want to know my politics to ask me specific questions about my politics, because I'm going to give you an answer that isn't predicated on trying to hide from both sides by claiming they're both wrong. Which issues are you more on the right of? I tend to be a little authoritarian, or maybe more than a little authoritarian, when it comes to the enforcement of integrity. I really feel that people who use anonymity as a tool to poison a conversation deserve no quarter. I don't think they should have their anonymity. Now that's a right-wing position, probably. But you know, I typically line up on that. Do you trust people to be able to choose for themselves what is good for them? No. I don't. Do you feel that identity politics are the death of modern debate? I don't think they're the death of modern debate, but I do think that they are a great time waster in modern debate. I respect people that say I don't know rather than dancing around the issue. I don't know is one of my favorite words. If I'm not like up to date on the particulars of a subject, I don't know is very easy for me to say. You and Devin Tracy would agree on the anonymity thing. We always have, yeah. I used to catch flack, TJ and I both, because we defended Devin Tracy's quote-unquote doxing of people who were fucking with him. I caught a lot of shit back then for it. And I still would now if he was still a public figure that people were talking about, you know. I respect people who admit they don't know. I mean, I don't know can't be a fucking... I don't know can be a problem as well. You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with using it sparingly when you don't actually know. But hiding behind it is a obvious possibility. You'll get I don't know out of a lot of politicians who don't want to take a stand on an issue because they don't really know politically which way they'd benefit more yet. Why was doxing just between quotation marks? Because I don't think that finding a publicly available tie from your username to your name is doxing. I think that if you're online with a username that you've used on some other forum that had your real name linked somewhere, I don't think that finding that old forum and finding that old link to your username and revealing what your name is to people is doxing. I think doxing is going and finding like your credit card number, your address, if it's not a publicly listed address, which once again, a lot of people's addresses are publicly listed. So I just don't understand how that's doxing. I don't understand how taking publicly available information and releasing it about a person is doxing. Like releasing their fucking address if it's not public, releasing their place of work, or their credit card numbers, their social security numbers, that sort of thing, yeah. Background checks are public, right? Who publicly lists their address? Everybody in the phone book, or a lot of people in the phone book will list their address. Most info can be found pretty easily. It's scary, right? So I don't think that you can claim that anybody has published the info when the info was previously published online and there for anybody who knows how to look for it. That's not doxing. Sorry. Anonymity is important for activists in oppressive countries, but abused by toxic people, sure. An internet with anonymity without anonymity would instantly be abused by those in power. The internet now, with its very limited, and let me underscore that, very, very limited ability to be anonymous on it, is already fundamentally abused by those in power. So what is this? What are we waiting for then? It's already completely and utterly gamed by those in power. And you have very, like a sliver of a chance of remaining anonymous in your doings there. Let's just put it this way. If you live within the United States, or anywhere in the world really, and the United States wants your Google history, wants to know what anonymous accounts you're associated with, wants to know what VPNs you're using, they've got that info. You've got no anonymity. Somebody could walk up and pull them out. The only thing protecting you right now from that kind of thing is that you're beneath notice. You're not worth the time of some analyst at the NSA to look up. The instant you are, everything you've ever done on the internet is sitting right in front of that dude. Period. 99% of people don't have the skill. Somebody says encryption. 99.9% of people don't have the skill to properly encrypt something and to properly hide their tracks on the internet in a way that would fool the NSA's ability to collect that information on you. Tor browser and a premium VPN. Let's say that you have a premium VPN and it has been previously subverted by the NSA in order to catch the criminal transfer of information and funds for terrorists, and you become a suspect in a federal crime. Do you think that hiding what you've done behind Tor and a VPN is going to stop them from getting that information? I'll wait. Not all VPNs are based in the US. Not all US security operations are based in the US either. Do you think that the United States' reach and influence when it comes to intelligence stops at its borders? I'll wait. Such a dumb conversation we're having, but I'll wait. The point is, you may feel anonymous, you may be using Tor, you may be going through a so-called premium VPN. The only reason that what you're doing is anonymous right now is because you are beneath notice. Whatever it is that you've done with that anonymity has not put you on somebody's radar. As soon as you're on the radar, everything that you've done on that VPN, everything that you've done through Tor will be sitting right in front of an agent looking through your history. Didn't it take the NSA years to find the head of the Silk Road? You really think that's an argument against what I'm talking about? That it took them a while to catch him? So the guy that actually ran the Silk Road wasn't able to stay anonymous, and that's your argument against what I'm talking about? Pretty good. So the whole point of bringing this up, this false like, oh, we got to protect our anonymity thing, is it's already gone. So we may as well make the space useful for people trying to have a conversation. My solution to this, we've talked about it here a few times, is a 2-account solution, a publicly searchable and available account that's given to you at birth as a citizen of this country, like a social security number. Before you're the age of 18, it only allows you access to a certain part of the internet where only other people that are underage can go. Once you reach 18, you're given access to the internet at large as an adult, and you're given the opportunity to create a single anonymous profile to use in these online spaces for information that you may not want public to tie back to your job or your personal life or whatever. And that's it. You've got 2 accounts. 1, 2. You've got a publicly available account, so if you post something on Twitter or on Facebook, I can click on it and look at your federal account, and it gives me basic information about you. What your name is, what state of residence you're in, any other information that you've added to the profile that you want to share with people. If you decide to use your anonymous account, I'll click on it. It'll let me know that this is someone's anonymous account, and that's it. You've got 2. Mask on, mask off, exactly. And how does this fix the public space? Well, maybe it doesn't immediately fix the public space as a place to talk, but let's use Highdeology as an example. There are people here that create account after 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 account, and make no bones about it, their intention is to mess up this show for those of you that may enjoy it. Their entire intention of being here is to try and make this show suck so that the people that are here watching it live can't use the chat, I can't read the chat, and it just goes to shit. If my ideas were implemented, those people would get 2 chances. They could come on their anonymous account and I would ban them. They could come back on their normal account and talk that stupid shit and say things that could be immediately tied back to their real life, or they're done. And if they do come back on their real account and keep it up, I ban them, and now that's it. That person is no longer able to interact with this stream. How desperately needed, if you extrapolate this idea out of Highdeology and take it to Twitter, right, where a lot of the national conversation comes into play, right? How desperately needed is some kind of function where we can tell that that's a real person we're talking to. Twitter is literally infested with bot accounts that are 10, 15,000 of them at once, that are all controlled by one person or one entity, with the intent to make things look popular or to make things look unpopular, to push political ideas or to counter political ideas. One person's voice becomes 500, 1,500, 2,000, 15,000 people. Under my proposed solution, each person gets 2 chances. They have 2 voices they can use. One person, one account, one voice. Just like out in the public square. Because think about this. Let's try and fantasize an inversion of the internet's principles to see how much it doesn't make sense. You and a group of 10 of your friends decide that you want to have a protest outside of a church that has been trying to block abortions for women. You want to do a counter protest, right? You show up with 10 or 15 people and your signs. Hey, this church hates women, blah, 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 blah. The pastor inside that church decides that he wants to squash your protest, but he can't find any of his parishioners to come and help him. None of them really want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So that pastor just duplicates himself 1,000 times, makes him look like a bunch of different people from all different walks of life and all different social statuses, and then shows up with an army of clones to show that there are double the amount of people against your ideas than are against his. That's the truth. That's honestly the truth of the internet right now. It sounds pretty wicked, yeah, from a sci-fi position, but it sounds pretty absurd from a real-world position. So it's an absurdity. As cool as it may sound from a, hey, let's make a movie about this perspective, it's an utter absurdity to think that society could work if one person's voice could be amplified to the power of 3,000 people's voices, and have each one of those voices seem like it's a unique individual that doesn't exist. Completely untenable to live in society like that. But that's exactly what the online space is right now. You can't have a conversation and be even reasonably assured that you're actually talking to a person that isn't being paid to push the counter narrative. It's absurd. It's absolutely, completely, and utterly untenable. And if somebody doesn't do something about it, maybe not my solution, the internet, we may as well leave it, because it's literally going to be so overrun with corporate shills, government shills, foreign government shills, bad faith actors, people that are, working for different fucking arms of the government or different political parties trying to push a narrative. There's going to be no chance for two people to have a conversation on this fucking platform in about 10 years if somebody doesn't do something. And that's it. The best VPN is your own mind? Yes. The best VPN is a private conversation. There's going to be no revolution, by the way. Nobody's going to do anything about this. When I bring up this type of thing, people's immediate, especially people that spend a lot of time on the internet, their immediate reaction is nope, nope, no, no, no way, not going to do it, not going to work. It's like, and you can explain to them you don't have anonymity now. All those multiple accounts that you make only give you a limited veil against other, normal people. They don't give you a veil against the government. They don't give you a veil against corporations. You don't have it now, and right now the internet is fast becoming unusable. Nope, nope, can't do it, can't do it. The infrastructure alone, Paul's ego. Like, how about we stop foreign interventionalism and take those trillions of dollars that we're pouring down the sand pit right now and invest them in an internet infrastructure that actually works for people? No, 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 impossible, impossible. The people against this idea are probably the biggest government shills. No, it's actually not. That's really one of the problems. And I don't mean to go down this fucking pessimism road again. One of the biggest problems that we've faced is that a really significant amount of the population has been fooled into thinking that what's best for them is actually what's best for corporations and the government at large. So there are people that, even though they experience the negative effects of what they're doing every day, have still have a deeply held belief that it's right, because what these people, when I say these people, I mean the government, corporations, foreign corporations and government entities have done, they've learned psychology. They learned it a long time ago, and psychology is the most powerful tool that the powerful can use against the powerless. They learned the principles of how to manipulate people a long time ago. They learned what triggers you. They learned what triggers the impulse to purchase in you. They learned what triggers the impulse to associate a good feeling with their product or their policy a long time ago. And their war, their psychological war that's been fought on every front in this country for 50, 60, 70 years now, probably more, it won about a generation or two ago. Now people are really convinced that corporatism, that what's best for the big companies and the big governments is what's best for them. They're convinced of this now. Even though their lives are negatively impacted by every aspect of it, it's not enough. They've got a personal investment in it, and that's a psychological principle these companies long ago, and look at how some people will defend a brand. Have you ever met somebody who will defend a brand of clothing or a brand of soda or a brand of fast food or a brand of cars? I know I have. That is a psychological principle. They've instilled in you a desire not only to purchase and consume their brand, but to put a little piece of yourself on that brand. Now, when you look at Ford cars or when you look at an Apple iPhone, you feel a sense of completely and utterly unearned pride because you've associated yourself like a football team with this brand. And then when you hear somebody saying, you know what, the iPhone kind of sucks, you're immediately more likely to go, hey, what are you talking about? This iPhone sucks. What are you doing with that time? Those arguments that you have, iPhone versus Android arguments, you know what they're doing? You know what you're doing? You're working unpaid PR for Apple. You're working unpaid PR for Microsoft that owns Android. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, that people have been convinced to not only purchase these things, which is one layer of problem, but to defend them and to defend the way of life that makes them possible, even if it's to their own detriment. And for most of us, it is. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're up. That's what we, whatever the hypothetical we are up against, right? It's not just minds that needs to be changed. It's like egos that need to be given something else to attach to. And that's way harder than changing a mind. Changing a mind is one thing. Changing somebody's ego, changing something that somebody's decided is a hill that they will die on, even if you can show them on paper that's directly working against them, you are very likely to not be able to reach that person. Is what it is, guys. All we can do is talk about it. All we can do is talk about it. That's the genesis of my 2-account solution. Now, it may be completely flawed in a way that some technical expert could tell me it is, but I don't hear anybody else giving any other kind of solution to this. I don't hear anybody talking about it. And that's all we can do, is to talk about it amongst each other and to try and come up with ideas we think might work. I like your internet plan, Paul, but I have an issue from it. It would take money away from the military. They need it to bomb brown people overseas. Oh, shit. We could completely dismantle the internet? We could, yeah. We could, at this point, completely dismantle our infrastructure and the internet as it exists and rebuild it. Completely, from the ground up, in a way that works. Absolutely. Like that would happen. I didn't say it was probable. I said it was possible. So many dumb people mix up probability and possibility. Would you rather the internet go away? No. The only way for us to beat the corporations is for every person on Earth to stop consuming, which is never going to happen. That's not the only way to beat them, but certainly large swaths of the country or world population deciding not to consume would definitely be necessary to weaken a corporation. But yeah, there are other ways for corporations to be removed from power that don't necessarily involve everybody boycotting their product at the same time. Make everyone poor so they can't consume. Yeah. Like, for example, there was this company, some of you may not remember it, you may be too young, called Enron back in the day. A gigantic energy distribution and trading company that basically invented the idea of an energy stock exchange, right? So the idea that you could trade natural gas, trade, oil futures and stuff. They invented kind of the market. And Enron was engaged from almost the very beginning of its corporate structure in massive fraud. And it went on for years and years and years. They became the most powerful company in America. They had political ties to all of the main political families. George W. Bush was in power, and they were like best buddies with George. And it took one investigative journalist. So this is not a mass boycott of Enron products. This is not everybody realizing that Enron is involved in this shady stuff and deciding, I'm not going to use Enron products anymore. This was one investigative journalist looking into the numbers of Enron, finding out that they didn't make sense, publishing a piece that reached enough people to start the criminal investigation into that company. And now Enron is no longer a company, and the people that headed up Enron went to jail. So that's another way to take down these companies that are, because make no bones about it, the fraud that was exposed in Enron is still being used by a number of entities. There was also a giant accounting corporation named Arthur Andersen that went down with Enron as a result of them helping Enron cook their books. So there are two giant old corporations with massive standing in this country that were taken down because of the work of one person. Think about that. That sounds like a better way to bring down a big evil corporation than hoping for everybody in the world to boycott their product, doesn't it? It just takes a mind. It just takes a mind. That's all. It takes a mind fixated on the truth to break up these companies. What we need is visionaries who understand the problem and are willing to redefine business in a humanitarian way and stomp out any competition that might disagree. Yeah, I agree with that. Do you have any certain coffee brand recommendations? Yeah, try Coffee Band. Try my favorite coffee band. I'm tragically not smart enough to think of solutions to these problems. It's rough. That's not true, man. That's not true. You just have to focus yourself on it. Anybody's smart enough to think about these problems and to hypothesize solutions to these problems. Everybody. If you're smart enough to be here, listening to this and following along, you're smart enough to do that. It's just a matter of leveraging your time in the right direction. That's all. Let's create super soldier serum. Okay, that sounds good. Just do what Teddy Roosevelt did and break up all the giant corporations. Oh yeah. Yeah, be the next Teddy. Be the next Teddy Roos. My lazy eye is showing today. It's showing every day. I can't turn off my lazy eye. Dinor. Come on. Whining at this door, man. A wimp. It is salty and sweaty today out here. Let me tell you that much. Between Houston Natural Gas and Inter-North, both relatively small regional. I don't even know what you're talking about. You're down a rabbit hole that I didn't go with you on. It's kind of dreary on Philly. Yeah, I wish it was kind of rainy and shit here today. That'd be nice, but tis the beginning of summer. Tis the sweaty time. Okay, let's go inside. Oof. It's too sweaty. It's too sweaty. Oof. Man, that blast of AC. Oh yeah. Oh Lord. Take me away. That blast of AC was just what the doctor ordered, dude. Oh my god. Oh. Oh man, dude, there is no better feeling in the world than getting like to that I'm uncomfortably muggy hot and then coming into a place that's just like nice and chilled out. Oh fuck. I feel like a grizzly bear scratching his back on a log right now. This must be what they feel like. You guys ever seen that happen? That like when a bear will back up to a tree and just be like, ugh, yeah. Man, that feels good. Feels really good. Yeah, buddy. You could always try it next time you're near a tree and no one else is around. Yeah, I could. Maybe I should. Looks like it feels good, man. Looks like it feels so good. Of course, they got other things going on, you know what I mean? A bear's got problems that a human don't got when it comes to that. Like, we have a limited capacity to be able to, like, you know, to, like, fucking scratch our own backs, you know? We can reach a little. They can't. You get sap on your back, yeah. Maybe. Let me show you guys this project I've got to fucking work on. Slowly but surely here. Hey, Dinor. This is my, like, closet of extra shit. There's, like, tech in here that I don't use, old monitors. And I've got to pare this shit down because if we move, I don't want to go anywhere with all of this. I need to shrink this down in here. Some of this shit we have to keep, but like there's like old tech and some of it's Christmas decorations too, but blah. Blah. I've already given you guys like a short tour of the apartment before. All right, let's take off this shit and go on a little walk. This is my living room, my dining room. My Alien, I used to have an Aliens poster in between these two, but it fell off the wall. It's one of those magnetic ones. So this is our little dining room. This is our living room, our TV, and our big giant bean bags that we sit in. There's White Guilt Paul. I'm not gonna show you guys our bedroom because that's creepy. Here's our kitchen. Let me turn on a light in here. I was doing some dishes earlier, so putting these pans away and shit. But it's our little kitchen. It's the dining room over there again. And then this way is my room. There you go. Now you know, and knowing's half the battle. Those of you that want to like try and sneak in and kill me, you now have the means. You know the layout of my apartment. Hoarder house? What are you talking about, dude? There's hardly anything. It's not like, I'm not going to say it's like the cleanest and most put together apartment, but it doesn't look like a hoarder house, for fuck's sake. You gotta give me a little gotta give me a little slack, bro. Absolutely filthy. Do you love the life you find yourself with, or do you just like it? Kind of love my life, I guess. I wouldn't want to be somebody else. Even somebody that's like in a better position than me, I think I'd take a pass on. You know what I mean? I kind of live my life. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Do you have tattoos? I'm gonna get a hermit crab in 2 hours. Neat. A hermit crab. 2 pet hermits. Cool. I like hermit crabs. I never had the crabs. Did have an STD once, though. I think I've talked about it. Pretty terrible. I had the chlamydia once, guys. I got the chlamyds. Didn't even know I had it. Did I tell you guys this story? The chlamydia story? Oh, man. The worst kind of way that you can find out you've got chlamydia. So, I was dating this chick, and before we had gotten together, she got around. You know what I mean? She got around. And then we were together for 3 or 4 years, maybe even close to 5 years. And while we were together, she still got around. You get my drift? Long story short, that relationship breaks off, right? And I start dating this new chick who's very nice and is not the type of girl that gets around, you see. And she went in for like a routine gynecologist appointment, found out she had chlamydia. I mean, of course, you know, we're sleeping together, so I'm the closest one that could have given it to her, so I go in to get tested. Sure enough, I've got it. So now I have the duty not only to fucking get rid of that, which is I'm lucky it's just chlamydia, right? Because you can take some fucking antibiotics for chlamydia and it's gone. But the damage is done. You know, that was just not a good way to jump off a relationship. Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't the HIV or the fucking what you call it, the warts, or the you know, any of the viral ones, the herpes. Yeah. Ugh. You know, damage to your balls? No, not from what I can tell. How did the new girlfriend react to it? Not well. And then the old girlfriend didn't react to it well when I called her to warn her. I was like, hey, just wanted to let you know that you gave me and my new girlfriend chlamydia, and you might want to go get checked out and stop giving it to everybody you're fucking. She was like, you didn't get it from me. And I was like, all right, well, my duty is done here. Click. Just Googled chlamydia. Looks nasty. Yeah. I mean, both of us were asymptomatic, so chlamydia is not something that, at least in the early stages of it, and dudes, I think, can have it for a long fucking time and not know it. So, there you go. There you go. The story of how to get chlamydia. No, it doesn't stay forever. It's like chlamydia is like a bacterial infection or whatever the fuck that they give you like a course of strong antibiotics. You take another test, and they tell you you're clean. Most cases of chlamydia and gonorrhea are asymptomatic and go away on their own. Yep. You can take antibiotics for it. Yes, that's exactly what they give you. They give you the antibiotics. I have hemorrhoids. Oof. Don't give that to me. Don't give me the roids, man. I don't need that shit. Well, I'm pretty lucky, honestly, with that girl that I only got chlamydia. I'm really lucky that I didn't end up with the herpetiderps or the schlurpetiderps or whatever the fuck. Super gonorrhea is med resistant. Well, how are you enjoying this southern climate? I mean, Cali is not any less hot in the summer. It's just less humid. And now that I've kind of like, you see what I did earlier? Sat out there on the porch with you guys for like over an hour in that heat. I wouldn't have been able to do that the first summer I was down here in Louisiana. Like I've acclimated to the high heat, high humidity index shit. The first summer we moved down here. Dinor, be quiet. Be quiet. They're allowed to be in that parking lot. It's everybody's park. Be quiet. He's like looking out my window over here at people milling around in the apartment parking lot. And he's barking at them like they're trespassing. They're not. They're allowed. They're allowed. Come here. Chill out. Chill. Okay. All right. This is happening. This is happening. What do you got? What did you see down there that scared you? Tell me. What did you see? Who was it? Who said it? Who did it? Who did it? Oh boy. Anyway, like I was saying, first summer I was down here, I would have literally died trying to do that. I would have been sweating so bad from head to toe that I couldn't have fucking functioned. And, you know, I just chilled out. Oh my God, just a long beard hair. I just found a gangly long beard hair. Look how long this beard hair is, dude. You guys probably can't see it, but I can feel it. And dude, it is this fucking long. Look at this. Dude, I could see if my beard wasn't curly. This is how long my fucking pull it out. It's good luck. All right. There we go. Holy fuck. That is a gangly long beard hair. Yeesh. Get my beard straightened. Dude, yeah, I don't know if that means that like my beard would be that long if it was. Dude, that hair, no, dude. Here's another one. It's another gangly long one. Maybe it's just a head hair that felt, no, it wasn't. That was a beard hair. It was in my beard. I pulled it out of a fucking pore right here. I could feel it. Anything else you dislike about Louisiana? The politics, the lack of public transportation, the lack of safety measures on the roads. The quotient of dumb people, I guess, is pretty high around these parts. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's true of most, a lot of places, at least. Maybe not all three of those. Let me tell you something. Southern roads do not suck. I will repeat that. Southern roads do not suck as a rule. There are some southern states that have their roads fucking handled real well. I'll give you a state that you're probably not going to like to hear that's got its roads taken care of real well. Alabama. Dude, when we left Louisiana and started into Alabama, there was a palpable difference in the quality of the fucking roads. Arkansas is another one that I've driven through that has really nice roads. A lot of parts of Texas, now Texas is so huge that it should be 3 or 4 or 5 states, but there are a lot of regional areas of Texas where the roads are really nice, really functional. There are just some states, Louisiana and Missouri probably being the most egregious ones that I've been in. Missouri is almost unthinkably bad, and Louisiana is right behind it. I would say the worst roads overall that I've spent time riding or driving on in the United States is going to be Missouri or Louisiana. Easily, it runs away with it. I would say Missouri by a hair, but that's just because I just have such a fucking disdain for the road system around there. Here, I have to deal with it more often, so it's probably a little less annoying, but it might even be worse here. That's another thing that sucks down here. Education and healthcare. Terrible. Healthcare, Louisiana is 50 out of 50 in the States. Literally last place in the United States in healthcare. and not far behind in education. Scariest southern town you've ever driven through? I wish I could remember the name of it. I think it was named Alkali, honestly. There is a little, it's in West Texas, like Northwest Texas. Right after, well, maybe not right after, but about an hour outside of El Paso, heading towards San Antonio. I think it's called Alkali. And I stopped there at like super early in the morning, the wee hours of the morning, to gas up. And that little town, it looked like there was literally, like, it hadn't aged since the 50s. I'm not even fucking joking, dude. That place was crazy to be in. I felt like immediately in danger when I got out of my car. I was like, holy fuck. There's like tumbleweeds blowing through the road. I couldn't see a soul. That whole town was like out. The dude that took my fucking custom at the gas station, I went in there to get like a fucking, Red Bull or something, then to pay for the gas. He looked at me like I was an alien that came out of the fucking sky. Like he hadn't seen a person come through this town in fucking ever. He was this old, like, sitting in there in a fucking I can't remember what kind of gas station it was, but like a corporate-owned city gas station or I can't remember, Shell or something. He's got the thing on, but he's just old. He's just older than shit. He's just looking at me like, I put the Red Bull up there, and he looked at dude, this is a weird fucking town. He looked at the Red Bull like it was like an alien artifact. He was like, boop, rang it up, and I was like, yeah, and then whatever's on the pump out there, I just want to pay it in here. It's $31.50. I'm like, handed him my card. He looked at it like it was an alien artifact for a minute. He's like, whoop. Like, paid for it, signed the fucking thing, and I got out of that town so quick. I had to go like through another little part of it to get back onto the fucking freeway. And it just, like I said, it looked like a town that had it was in arrested development since the 50s. Like old style, like weird little boutique shops, all of it closed down, not a single car on the road, all these weird little, I don't know, dude. There was just something about it. I don't think there was anything wrong with him. Like I said, I don't think people stop there very often for whatever reason. And whatever the reason was, I didn't want to find out. I wanted to get the fuck out. I was the only car at that gas station. I was the only car on the roads of that fucking town. I wanted out. Big time. I can't even imagine like being like a black person or a Mexican person stopping in that little town at night. It was like, almost became the town's newest resident. Creepy. They can hardly get their VCRs working, let alone drive properly. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to find out. Yeah, I got the fuck out immediately. I did not hang in that. I mean, not that there would have been anything to hang and do in that town. It was one of them towns that dies at about 10 p.m. It seemed like you walked right back into the station, he'd disappear, and it'd look like a ruin. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with any of that. Like, I turned around, like, oh shit, I forgot my credit card. I turn around, and it's an old dilapidated building with, like, for lease on the thing, and it's all barred up and shit. And I'm like, you're breaking news there still? Yeah, I don't know. I just got the fuck out, man. I just went as fast as I could and got out. Some places in Appalachia are like 30 years behind everyone else in the country. Yeah. I've never been through a whole lot of Appalachia. I've been up and over the mountains once, and we didn't stop anywhere. But yeah, I can imagine little houses, little towns and, whatever, nestled up in the hills and up in the mountains probably don't get a whole lot of custom from outside. So does old age scare you? No. It wasn't that it was old. It's just that he seemed like too old to be running a fucking gas station at 2 in the morning. You know what I mean? It's not that he was old, it's the way he reacted to everything I did, which is like this absurdly normal thing. Going into a convenience store, getting a Red Bull, and paying for your gas is like this thing that is done probably a million times across the country. And yet, for some reason, he treated the whole transaction like it was some weird thing I was asking him. And he looked cagey as fuck. Like he was waiting for me to pull a gun on him or something. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what made it a weird interaction. But yeah, that's probably the spookiest southern town I've ever been through. Was on the eastern side of Texas. It was right after El Paso on the way to fucking San Antonio. So towards the northwestern end of Texas. Do they have the old style gas pumps? No. I remember it looked like a normal fucking filling station. They, not brand new, but, reasonably modern. That's what I mean. Yeah, like going inside, it wasn't that the place looked weird. Like the place looked like a 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? Had all the same products, the fucking fire starter logs and the absurdly priced, cereal and soda packs and candy and beef jerky up by the fucking counter and all the cigarettes behind the dude. It was like there was nothing spooky about it. It looked like a normal fucking place. I wouldn't have stopped at some old fucking 50s looking gas station. I pulled over because it was like a Shell station or a 76 station or whatever the fuck they have up there. An Exxon station or some shit. And it looked like that. How do you spell the town? I don't even know if that's the name. It had a name like that though. It was like alkali or borax or it was named after some weird mineral in the ground. Like I don't remember what it was. I can look. Here, let me look. Let me just find a fucking Google Maps and we'll find this thing. So I know the road I took, or at least I'll be able to find it. Google Maps. Let's go to El Paso, Texas, shall we? El Paso, down in the West Texas town of El Paso. I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Okay, so it's definitely not Northwest Texas. It's more like Southwest Texas. So I crossed the border. I came close to the border crossing on I-10 heading towards San Antonio, which is going to be, right there. And I took N10. So let's see, I-10. So I would have crossed the border right about there. All right, so I got to have to go a little closer because it was a small town. Balmoria, nope, that ain't it. Fort Stockton, nope, that ain't it. It might not show every one of these. Ozona, there it is. That's what it was. Yeah, Ozona, this little town right here, I'm pretty sure was the one that I'm thinking of. There's a gas station right off, yep. Sunoco, this is the one I took. This is right here, the exit I took. So I took the exit on Old Highway 290 into Ozona, and I stopped at the Sunoco gas station. Let me click on it. Yep. Yep, this is where I stopped. So there you go. If you want to find where I'm looking for, this is exactly where I stopped. I stopped and filled up right here. It's a Sunoco station. It was 2 in the morning. It's a Stripes. Yeah. Right by Stripes. Mm-hmm. This is exactly the place. That's cool. You're able to fucking find it. That's neat. Did you ever happen to see a guy named Harry who was working for his daughter? No. Looks normal? I don't know. Doesn't look normal to me. Immediately evokes an eerie feeling. Of course, these pictures that I'm looking at that you can find are not taken at 2 a.m. in Ozona. So there you go. We found it. Yeah, bad vibes, bad juju around that place for sure. He probably looked like a guy who had robbed him before. Okay. So, what was that question even about? What was the? Oh yeah, it was like what was the spookiest southern town I've been into? That's where the cartels hold their victims. Okay, in Ozona. It's a cartel town. Hey, maybe it is. I don't know. It's close enough to the fucking border. That border crossing right there is where that other story that I tell happened, where I crossed the border with medical marijuana, lied to a federal agent. Oh, yikes. That story with the old man sounds like it would make a good setting for a horror film. Definitely something that could be like in a horror film, as a set piece, for sure. The whole idea of a little town like that, that somebody gets trapped in. It's been done before, but I always liked that trope. The trope of the little town that's far enough from society that some evil lives there and is able to take root there and continue there unabated, where, in a more populated area it would immediately be snuffed out. We have some spooky dying small towns in Montana that I drove through. There's small dying towns anywhere. Anywhere you get outside a major population center, you're going to find these types of places. Would you ever go back to Gadsden, Alabama? Sure. There were some cool folks there. I think that old man was just a retired theoretical physicist. Oh, okay, that makes sense. He was theorizing about the nature of reality while he was doing my transaction. Yeah, it might be good in one of those like compilation films, Coolman. I don't know. It's just an interesting idea. Little things like that do oftentimes end up finding their way into some weird little story that I concoct, and I kind of collect those weird little interactions, because you never know. You never know what'll come of them. The movie that I'm trying to write, the screenplay that I'm trying to write, is another one of those moments. Another one of those moments. Those tiny little communities, like 15 people in the middle of nowhere, confuse me. How do these people end up in these places? I mean, oftentimes you'll find that like the place used to have a lot of industry, and slowly but surely the industry fled, leaving only a few families with enough shops to continue to, or enough business interest in the area to even continue living there. A lot of those people just work locally, have their own kind of self-sustaining work, like farming or something. Time to fill the old vape. It's time to fill the vape. It's starting to get low, and it tastes pretty bad. Eyedropper. I hate these types of vape juices that fill with an eyedropper. They piss me off. I like squeezy bottles. Like the other one I'm going to add here is in a squeezy bottle. We all deserve to die. Even you, Mrs. Lovitz, even I. Looks tedious, huh? You don't have to do it very often. So, yeah, we're done. Beach towns are very fun towns, though. Usually. You ever feel like an absolute douche having to do that in public? I don't do that in public. You kidding me? Fill that shit in public. There's no need. I recently tried out Mio, and now it's all I drink. Yeah, I drink a lot of Mio, too. Add a little splash of it in your water. Oh yeah, Paul, do you really believe the Sweeney Todd movie is terrible? Yes, I do. I do. Hiya, Paul. Hiya. Whatever. Oh yeah, Paul, would you be okay with living off into the countryside if you had internet? Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I grew up in the country. Are the songs the only reason? They're a main reason. Some of the stuff, like I understand why people like it because there are parts of it that look cool, and the costume design is kind of cool, and the camera work and special effects work is pretty cool. But the songs are terrible, and the songs are the heart of the film. And they have so many people cast in principal roles singing like fucking insanely complex, insanely hard roles that require insanely talented people to sing them properly. And they just weren't. Johnny Depp singing Sweeney Todd is one of the fucking worst casting choices ever. Number one, Sweeney Todd is supposed to look old and giant. He's supposed to be a big, fat, old guy, like me. Sweeney is supposed to look like me. And he's this like fey little Johnny Depp thing, and he sings like that. He sings an octave above what you're supposed to sing. Sweeney Todd is supposed to be a deep baritone, and Johnny Depp doesn't sing it as a deep baritone. The same thing goes for Mrs. Lovitz. Mrs. Lovitz has an incredibly tough role because it has some of the like highest notes that you have to hit in the show, but she has a very thick accent that is very represented in the lyrics. So you have to be able to sing with that heavy, heavy, super duper Cockney accent, but also be like, you have to be able to discern what the person is saying. And what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter. She can't sing. She's up in her falsetto during times where she needs to be full voice, and it makes her hard to understand. You know, she should be singing, meat pies are good when you get it, but like 3 octaves up. How you get it? But she's up here. Meat pies are good. How you get it? If you get it, when you want it. If you want to get it, if you want to get it, all the worst pies in London. And it makes everything mushy that comes out of her mouth because she's not supporting her. She's not a singer. Pirelli. Oh my God. Pirelli is supposed to be an amazing vocalist. It's one of the hardest parts in the show to sing. And they give it to Sacha Baron Cohen, who once again can't sing. He does a big comedy routine. Oh, to shape the face, oh, to shape the beard, oh, to make it the phrase. And it's supposed to be funny, but it's also supposed to be sung really, really like it's a really complex song. So in the film, there were a couple of people that carried their parts okay. Alan Rickman as Judge Turpin was okay. I don't remember his name, but the guy that played Beetle Bamford is okay. But that's it. Toby, the little urchin kid who's at the beginning of the movie, he's an acolyte of Pirelli, and then he becomes an acolyte of Mrs. Lovitz and Sweeney. Terrible. He's just terrible in the film. They didn't find he's supposed to be played by a young-looking, adult for a reason, because children's voices they can't carry that part. So they cast an actual child who's doing the same thing Helena Bonham Carter is doing, singing in his falsetto a lot. So it's hard to understand what he's saying. Driver Ellie, miracle elixir, that'll do the tricks, truths are true. Oh, Driver Ellie's and it's just like, that's supposed to be Try Pirelli's miracle elixir. It's supposed to be a full voice thing. You can't sing with that kind of character. And I'm an octave below where that's supposed to be, I think, or a half octave, something like that. Try Pirelli's miracle elixir. What sounds better? Try Pirelli's miracle elixir. That'll do the tricks. What sounds better? What sounds correct to you? You don't have to be a fucking vocal expert to pick between those two performances. So that's why the movie sucks. That's why it sucks, because the heart and soul of that whole show is the songs, and about 75% of the people they cast can't sing. If you want to check out Sweeney Todd, I'll find the thing for you, and maybe Coolman can link it for you. But there's a really good performance on YouTube, Sweeney Todd. If you want to see a staging of Sweeney Todd, yeah, So you want to watch Sweeney Todd. It's the name of the video is period Todd Lincoln Center. It's the Lincoln Center performance of Sweeney Todd. A lot of really super ultra talented actors, every part sung expertly. So yeah, Sweeney Todd Lincoln Center. It's online. It's available right now for you to watch. I mean, literally, like the parts of what you call it. I can't remember his name now. The young man and Sweeney's daughter. That the kind of love interest part in the movie. Those are basically opera singers, especially Joanna. Thank you, Coolman. Anybody that's interested, Coolman's going to spam the link for a couple of times so you guys can catch it. I really recommend watching it if you've only seen the movie and want to know why I think it sucks, or if you've never seen Sweeney Todd. This is the best way for you to. That song is so good. I sing it in the shower sometimes, the Joanna song. But it's just above my range. I'd have to stand up to sing it too. I can't sing it sitting down. I'd have to support it too hard. I don't know who I would pick. I would go look at musical theater people to put in that show. I've seen Sweeney 4 times. And I've seen it, or is it 3? It's 3 or 4 times. And I've seen it at different levels of production. So I've seen a big main stage production, like a Broadway level staging of it. I've seen it done community theater level, and I've seen it done in a very small black box style, which was my favorite. I really liked the intimacy of the closer, more pantomime-y, less set reliant version. And that's kind of what this Lincoln Center is like. They do this weird kind of, it looks like they're just going to come and sing the play at the beginning, and you think, oh fuck, they're just going to stand there and sing their songs. But they eventually like kind of dismantle the whole orchestra and singing pit and turn it into a mock stage and do a full staging of the show, and it's really good. Really, really good. I feel you, Joanna. I feel you. Do they think that walls can hide you? Even now I'm at your window. I am in the dark beside you, Joanna. Oh man, that song gives me the chills. So good. Yeah, that show is phenomenal. You guys should all watch it. I sing that in the shower a lot. It sounds really nice in the shower, the echoey bathroom kind of thing. Yeah, he stalks her at her window, dude. He sees her singing and combing her hair on the balcony, and he's standing out in the alley, a poor sailor boy, without a fucking penny to his name. He's looking up at her, and he's, making his mind up. She's gonna be mine. She's into it, yeah. I did not know you could sing. I can't really sing all that well, but I've got really good pitch, so it helps. I just don't take care of my voice. I shouldn't be. If I was a singer, you wouldn't ever see me hitting this. You would never see me smoking a joint. Like, you got to take care of your voice if you're a singer. I can carry a tune. I'm not a singer. I'm with you, then I'm with you there. You done barking? You done barking? Did you chase them away? You chase all the bad guys away. That's a good boy. I wish I knew so much about singing. Huh? You just gotta spend time doing it. I spent a lot of time doing it. Any dank memes? Yeah. Here's a dank meme. Get timed. Take 300 seconds. That's a meme, right? I think my ideal musical I'd love to see IRL is the movie version of The Wall. It'd be cool. Yeah, I've never gotten to see a live staging of The Wall. One of my favorite musicals as a kid was the original Into the Woods. It's good. I like all kinds of musical theater. It's hard for me to dislike a show. I'm a theater dork. Tell us more about how to cultivate your singing voice. If you want to practice pitch, there's the up a half method is how you learn pitch. So you got to pick something that you can move up a half measure every time. So I used to do I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, up a half. I know, I know, I know, I know, up a half. I know, I know, I know, I know. You do that. So it's learning the very subtle differences between, notes will help you a lot. You can do it with. I used to do a hello mellow back in the day. It's good to work on your breath too. Like everything you sing should be supported from here. You shouldn't be singing from here. You shouldn't be singing from up here. If you feel like the crux of the noise that you're making is coming from here or from here, you're doing it wrong. You need to support everything from this core area. And that means deep breaths, and that means supporting every note with breath. So you do a hello mellow, that's probably a more advanced version of the same thing, but you can do it the same way as the up a half one I just did. So you do hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mel, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mel, up a half. Hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mel, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mellow, hello mel, up a half. You do that a lot. If I did more of that, I could sing way better. But yeah, just little vocal exercises like that to get your mind and your singing voice trained to hit specific notes on demand. That's basically what it is. Your voice sucks. Cool. Good thing I'm not a singer. I might be hurt by that. Finally caught a Highdeology while on vacation. Throws a tomato, catches it in midair, and bounces it right off of your fucking stupid empty mongoloid dome. Damn. I'm like a ninja too. What's the deepest voice you can get? Me, 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 me. 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 Right about there. Me. Whatever that is. See, that's one thing I never learned to do. I never learned to read music. So I can't tell you what note that is. No, my throat's not going to explode. I'm a loud fuck. I could scream all day and keep my voice. Some Peruvian throat singing. I wish I could do it. Officially cataloged as an annoyance, yes. Officially annoyed. You feel all at one? Sounds like a didgeridoo. Yeah, they're related in sound, I think. How much pan do you smoke a day? Get out of here with these dumb fucking questions, man. What are you, 12? Take 300 seconds and age about 8 years and come back and ask a question again. You have to storm the Great Wall of China while singing like that. That'd be nice, dude. I'd have fun doing that. They'd probably kick me off the wall, though. They'd probably shoot me, I would guess. It's legal now to that commenter. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be fucking in a Chinese prison. Not for a fucking year, not for 30 years, not for any years. Thank you very much. Pretty sure Chinese prison's probably the worst place on the planet, if you had to guess. Maybe a Russian gulag would be worse. I don't know. What do you think is worse? Like being in a hardcore American prison, a Russian prison, or a Chinese prison? That's got to be like. How high can my voice get? I don't know. Probably not very high anymore. Chinese or Korean gulags. The Swedish gulag. Get out of here. Go. What are you doing weirdness under my desk for? I want a nest under my desk. Go build a nest elsewhere. Swedish prison is basically heaven in comparison. I wonder what the remote, desolate parts of eastern Russia are like. Probably cold and empty and scary. Do you experiment with different vape juices? Get out of here. Quit asking me vape questions, bro. This is not Vape Nation. I don't give a fuck. I do this so I don't smoke. That's what I'll tell you about it. Like, that's fucking like the 18th vape question that I've skipped, and I'm starting to get sick of it. Get out of here. I'm not here to sell you vapes. I'm not here to talk vape. I don't like vaping. I don't think vaping is cool. Paul, please do your best stereotypical gay impersonation. No, I'm not your monkey, dude. I'm not your chimp. I'm not your trained chimp. You can't just grind your organ and make me do my little dance and doff my hat at people, okay? Lost my arm in a Canadian gulag, okay? Paul, who's your crush right now? You guys know Ashley? She's my crush. He did say pretty please with Mac on top. Oh, well, that's different. I'd rather live in Swedish prison than free here. Put me in Swedish prison, please. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I need some alone time. Swedish prison it is. What's the quickest way to get to prison in Sweden? Should I just go there and like break a window with a brick or something? I want DFF warehouse rave party. Who's Ashley's crush? You ever heard of that guy Paul Zigo? She likes him. Insult a female politician? No, I'm not gonna. Would it be okay if I could speak the language of whatever prison I might be in? I'm pretty sure it'd be fine. Especially like in Sweden. I'm pretty sure you'd find English stuff there. A lot of them are multilingual. Gorilla versus Sweeney Todd. Okay. Let's not get stupid with it now. Nancy Pelosi looks like a corpse. There you go. You got it done. In Swedish prison, you get free candy, but the candy is really salty. Swedish candy. Oh. Gross. Sweden's elections a few months ago rigged hardcore. Really? So just like an election anywhere else. The idea behind Swedish prison is that since the culture promotes the idea of going outside and enjoying nature, it's unbearable to stay inside all day and probably wouldn't work too well on most Americans. It would work well for me. When Theresa May resigned, do you think she could cross in furtherance to similarity of close governance? Oh my God, dude. Swedish people can speak English better than most people in North England. Cool. It's just a nonsense post. I'm starting to think that I'd rather be a Swedish prison than continue to live in America. You probably would be. You'd probably be better off. You'd probably be way better off, homie. See ya. See ya, buddy. Maybe time to flush the tism. Oh man, it's not flush. It's not the flushable level yet, but it's getting there, bro. It's getting there. I mean, we've had several sessions where the pruning has been real fucking heavy. And we just, I guess we're going to have a few more of those. The bowl is filling up, yeah. It's almost time for a flush. We're all prisoners of our own minds. Whoa. That's deep. Scandinavia gang. Oof. Get out of here. Thank you, Paul and Maud, for keeping the chats relatively clean. Hey, we're trying, dude. We're trying. I'm slowly but surely training the monkey that is chat to be a man. I will take this monkey and I will make a man of him. And it's a hard fight. His wild impulses want to take him back to the jungle trees where he flings, memes from 3 years ago and spams bullshit. But slowly but surely, I'm training this monkey to be a man. And slowly but surely, he will be a man. Yeah, thanks for pouring the scum water through the strainer. Yes, yes! We're not in the time of chimpanzees anymore. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You think we should have a rigorous education system like South Korea or Japan, or a more lenient one like other Scandinavian countries? I don't know. I think we should do anything. I think we should decide on one of those two and do it, because either way, I think would produce a better result than what we get now. Japan doesn't seem like a happy place. I guess that depends. I think most people aren't really all that happy. I get in the car to go to work, and all the Tismites really start coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, that's just the way it works, dude. It's also late in the show, after, about the 1 hour mark, that's when the Tismites really start to show force. Some actual thought put into designing an education system would be a step up. Yeah, anything. Any kind of improvement would be a step up from where we are now. Our public education in the United States is a national embarrassment. It's beyond a national embarrassment. It's a global embarrassment. And the fact that nothing of substance has been done on it since I've been alive is just... In fact, well, I guess that's not true. It's been substantially reduced in quality since I've been alive. Your children are getting a way more worthless education than I got, and I didn't get a great one. So there's a trend down, and we need to stop that, but nobody does it. Nobody's talking about it. A multiversal embarrassment, yeah. We definitely probably the multiverse area that has the least access to higher education for its people. The most ridiculous fucking, standardized education for our children. It's probably what it's about, dude. Depends on the state. Minnesota has a pretty good public education system. No, it doesn't. Not in comparison to the rest of the fucking world. I'm sure the education system is just as fucked pretty much everywhere in the fucking